Hey everyone, this is Mel, Crazy Desert Knitter. Welcome back to Crazy Desert Knitting. I am so glad you guys are here with me today. Welcome to another episode. For all of you returning viewers, thank you guys so much for coming back and seeing me again. For all of you new viewers, welcome to the Crazy Knitting family. So a couple of administrative pieces to get this out of the way right now. Number one, this will be unedited. Why? Because I still haven't gotten my computer fixed. Why? Because apparently I'm insane and just haven't gone down to get it fixed. My bad. Sorry, guys. So this will be another unedited podcast. If there is like names of patterns, things like that, go ahead and check out the description box down there. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to remember to put everything in there. If not, I will definitely tell you guys the names and you can probably spell better than me anyways. So there is that. Second, if anybody hears any noise from moving or anything like that, I do apologize. My neighbor is moving behind me or next to me, and all of our windows and doors are open because we live in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's under 90 degrees, so it's gorgeous. And yeah, we don't run air conditioning then. So just to let you guys know. Okay, I think that's everything out of the way. I'm going to try to keep this to a 30-minute podcast, just so everybody knows, nice, short, sweet, up to date. It has been about 3 weeks since my last one, and that's my goal, is one every 3 weeks or so, just to give you guys enough content in order to make it worthwhile to sit here and listen to me. Now that being said, I'm going to go through a quick little rundown. I'm going to go through everything that's off my needles now and before now, as it turns out. I'm going to go with what's currently on my needles, and then also possibly what's coming up, which will then lead me into some stash enhancement. Yes, I do have stash enhancement. I'll explain that later. So let's go ahead and get started. I think that's everything. Oh, if you guys are looking for me, message me in the YouTube because I have forgotten what my Ravelry password is, and I'm still trying to get into Ravelry, and I'm still trying to get into the Crazy Desert Knitting email address as well. I don't know what happened. I have locked myself out. I apologize. Okay, now let's get started. What is finally off my needles? So the last episode, I went through a whole bunch of things that were still on my needles, needed to be corrected and finished and all that kind of stuff. So I've actually done some of that. But my first item actually is something that I forgot to share last time. It turns out it technically wasn't done, which I thought it was. But, so this is my first thing, and this is a hat that I made with a magic ball. And if anybody doesn't know what a magic ball is, basically it's you take all of your yarn remnants and you put them into a giant ball. You tie a knot in each one of them and you just keep rolling until you don't want that color anymore. You snip it off, tie another one, and you keep going. Well, this year I made all of mine like bright colors, and so far I took my magic ball and some straight up black yarn that I had, and let the camera focus. I created this hat, and it's a strange rib hat. I have no idea what the pattern is because I don't remember making this. I know I did because it was sitting on my needles, and I know I did because it was sitting in my stash over here of really random things that kind of like sit next to the couch here that I work next to. But I don't remember starting it. I don't remember the fact that I didn't finish it, but I was trying to find something else and I pulled it out and I was like, that's still on needles. As it turns out, I needed to weave in the top hat and then weave in all my ends, and that was it. But, so I never shared this, but this is going to be a charity hat this year. It actually turned out really cool. I kind of like it. It was really funky. You gotta like the top too. All right, so that's my first finished object. Woohoo! It's done. It's going in the charity pile. Thumbs up. My second finished object, let me reach and grab it. Ugh, okay. So, depending on how long you guys have been with me, apparently I forgot to weave in a couple of ends. Depending on how long you guys have been watching and or if you guys are ever going to go back and rewatch old episodes, I was making an Odele top about a year ago when I first started this podcast. And it was great. I loved it. I really liked the pattern. It was nice and simple and easy. I made it more complicated because I didn't want to seam anything, so I did it in the round, and then I split for the arms. First time I've ever done that. But I got all the way done. So this was like the first one. I got all the way done. And if you guys can see this, and I know it shows up on camera, you will see it's 2 different colors. So like you can see the split, it's right about here. So I have a different color here and a different color here. It's the same dye lot. It's a commercially dyed yarn that is no longer available because they're no longer in business. Sorry guys if it blows out the camera because of the wall color behind me has got a lot of gray in it. So, which it looks taupey on camera, but it's got a lot of gray in it. So it's making everything look gray when I hold this up. But I originally looked at it and I'm like, oh my God. I have basically a line that covers my bust. Thumbs up, way to go me. Well, as it turns out, it wasn't long enough. I have a slightly longer torso than the average female, apparently. I didn't know this. My mother, who is more of a garment maker and sewing and things, she finally informed me of this. I did not know this. So I have a long torso and I don't like short shirts, which don't help. I like all my shirts to be a little bit on the longer side. So I wore this like once or twice and no, this is not blocked. I haven't even blocked it from the first time I made it. I know, I'm such a bad person. But sorry for the dog barking. He doesn't like the movers. So I went ahead and at the bottom, you guys are definitely going to be able to see basically where I picked off my edge. So I went ahead and I unpicked my cast on edge, stitch by stitch. And I went through and I added about 2 inches to the bottom of the shirt to make it a little bit longer. And as part of that 2 inches, I had little itty bitty leftovers of that top yarn that wound up as a different color. And so I went ahead and I built it in a stripe at the bottom to make it look more intentional. So yes, now it looks color block, but now it's a color block intentional. So I went ahead and I added about 2.5, maybe 3 inches. So where you guys see the start of the color was originally where my bind off is. And so again, I added about 2.5, 3 inches. And I just knitted, and apparently I do need to weave in ends because I forgot to do that, which is strange. But way to go me. Typical me, I don't remember to weave in ends very frequently. That's why I like the Russian join, because then I don't have to remember to do it. JD wants to come and say hi. Are you saying hi? Yes, you are? Oh, okay. You're saying hi. Well, how about you look over there? No? Okay. You got good eyes. So this is JD, everybody. He's a big baby. Thank you. I don't need that right now. He's a big baby, and he's not a fan of the movers. Yeah, he's my baby. So you're my baby? Yeah. All right, how about you get down so I can continue? Come on. No. Off. Ugh, there we go. Okay, sorry about that. He wanted to come and say hi. So I did go ahead and I added that. So I have done that as well. Again, once I weave in my ends and I actually block it, I will wear it on camera for everybody to see. Boom. You guys might notice there is a couple of modifications. There is an I-cord bind off around the neck. I also added an I-cord to the top sleeve, the shoulder seams. I didn't like the way my seams looked. So by adding the I-cord into there, it actually helped cover some of that stuff that I didn't like. And I'm calling it a design element. That's my way of doing it. Okay, so next I finished is called the Plaidaptation Pancho by Aunt Nina. Plaidaptation Pancho. Gotta get a nice look at that. Plaidaptation Pancho by Aunt Nina. This was actually a Craftsy kit that I received from my aunt. So the yarn came in the kit as well as the pattern and directions and all that kind of stuff. The only thing the kit didn't come with was the buttons. Well, as it turns out, the way I knit, I did not actually leave enough yarn for all of the stripes. And I was like, oh man. So I can go on and get the yarn and, you know, buy another ball of yarn. Well, it turns out to buy a single ball of yarn, it was going to be more to ship the ball of yarn than it was to just buy the ball of yarn. So I went into my stash and I was like, well, do I have anything gray? And in my stash, I have some Patons Classic Wool DK Superwash. I didn't want to use something that wasn't washable. So Patons Wool DK Superwash in the, I have dark gray heather colorway. Looks like this, which, by the way, that is a very accurate description of what it actually looks like. It's actually really nice yarn to work with. I've never used it before. I didn't know it was in my stash. I kind of went with it. It matches pretty well. And I say pretty well, not 100%, but pretty well with the stripes that are in there. It doesn't like clash with them. It's just a smidge darker. And so I went ahead and I finished up all of my other stripes in the, you guys might remember they were 2 rectangles. They weren't sewn together or anything like that. And then I went ahead and I sewed them together and I added buttons. Let me see if I can hold this up so you guys can actually see it. So I added these really cool buttons, and you guys might go, oh my God, where'd you find those buttons? I cannot tell you where these buttons came from. I can. They came from my mom's button box. Now, normal people have a button box and it's like this big, right? No, ours is like a giant tub. So I went rummaging through the button box and I came up with 4 large wooden buttons that looked the same. So I went ahead and I sewed on those 4 large buttons. Now I did make one modification to the pattern. The pattern actually has, and I think it was because I used a slightly larger needle because I knit tight. Well, by doing that, I did change the gauge slightly. And when I sewed it together, my neck hole was too small to actually get somebody's neck through. Like I couldn't actually wear it. It would have been choking me. It would have been up to here. So I brought it to my mom and I was like, hey mom, can you try this on for me? I want to see if it's going to fit Aunt Kathy. So I did. I brought it to my mom and she put it on. I'm like, okay, well it fits, but it's still a little tight. And I didn't like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to unstitch a little bit and I'm going to restitch down. And so I wound up pulling it back so I have a slightly larger neckline. If you use the exact gauge, you probably won't need that neckline. So I did have to kind of make a couple of modifications to the pattern because apparently I used a slightly larger gauge. My bad. But it turned out really, really cool. And I actually really like it. And this is like the best picture I can give you guys. Sometime I will actually make whenever I give it to my aunt, I will make my aunt take a picture of it and I will post it onto Ravelry or I'll post it on here or something like that. But so this is the Plaidaptation poncho kit from Craftsy. I do know you can purchase the pattern separately from the kit. So you can purchase the pattern and then just use whatever yarn out of your stash if you would like. But that is also finished. Woo! Okay. I think I'm on to my last finished object here, guys. I know, it's kind of crazy. So last time I had on my needles a set of vanilla socks using some kind of yarn. I don't even remember what kind of yarn this is. I know it's the Grouse colorway. Does that count? Oh. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on. I think it's in this one. Okay. Project bag. There it is. I was like, I didn't pull out the tag for some reason, but I didn't. Sweet Georgia yarns in the Grouse colorway. This is their Tough Love sock. And I can tell you, I really like it. I love the way their Tough Love sock feels. I liked how it knitted up. Their Tough Love sock is 80% superwash merino wool and 20% nylon. And it says approximately 425 yards to 115 grams or 4 ounces. Just to let you guys know. This is the Grouse colorway. And apparently I had stuff stuck to it. These are not blocked yet. Why? Because I don't actually have sock blockers. So I am in the process of getting myself some sock blockers, but I do not have sock blockers. I knitted mine on a 2mm or a US 2, which I think is a 2.5mm. Don't quote me on that, but a US 2 needle. And the pattern called for a 1 that I was using. I knit really tight, so I went up to a 2. So I know a lot of sock patterns may call for a 0 or a 1. I automatically go up 1 needle size, especially when I'm throwing or American knitting or American style knitting or whatever you guys want to call it, due to the fact that I knit tight. So I went up to a size 2. I would probably go down to a size 1 just because it gives me a slightly tighter fabric and maybe increase my stitches. So this is 68 stitches on a size 2. And it called for a Turkish cast on. First time I've ever done a Turkish cast on. You could also substitute in Debbie's Magic Cast On. I have not in the past had success with Debbie's Magic Cast On, so I didn't do it. So we have 1 sock and we have 2 socks. These were knitted 2 at a time. I really like the colorway, the Grouse colorway. I'll show you guys this up close. However, it turned out to be more stripy than I anticipated. I expected it to be more about like a random, but it kind of came in waves. Like it came in stripes. Like you guys can see it and it's repetitive stripes. It's really strange. I still like them. I'm still going to wear them. My friend may not get them. They might be too big for me. I don't know. So once I block them, if they turn out to be too big, they are going to go to my friend for Christmas because they will fit her. She has slightly longer feet than I do. But really cool, really fun. I really enjoyed these. I will be doing another one probably soon. And I would totally use the Sweet Georgia yarn again. Just letting everybody know. I do have some left over. Wow, as I'm dropping tags. I do have some yarn left over. Actually, I've got quite a bit of yarn left over. Like, I got lots of yarn left over. Not sure what I'm going to do with it. Maybe it'll make a pair of fingerless mitts. Who knows? Because there is enough in here for that. Because I don't go up really, really high on my socks. I don't like really high socks. So I don't go up very high on my socks. So there we go. Okay, that is everything that was on my needles, or off my needles, I guess I should say, since last time. And that's like 4 projects. I'm actually really impressed with that. So moving on to what is currently on my needles as I'm getting rid of yarn. You guys can tell, like, this is my stash pile over here. Stash. Okay, so what am I working on right now? As many of you guys know, I have been working my way through Building with Lace by Micheal Hunter, and it is an amazing pattern. You can buy this pattern on Ravelry. I do strongly suggest getting the book version of it because there's so many things in here. There's tips, there's tricks, there's clues that she gives you that, yeah, you could print it all out, but just to give you guys an idea, this thing is 51 pages where I have it bookmarked. I'm on the 51st page, and there's a couple of pages after that, so there's like 55 pages to this thing. I'm not sure you guys want to print that out at home. This way it comes in color, you can see it, it's easy, it's referenced. It's really nice. So you may want to get on, find your local knitting store, see if they have a copy. If not, I do know Isabel's Parlor. I will give you guys a link down below. She does have some copies of this and you can order it and she will send it to you. Just to let you guys know. So again, Building with Lace by Micheal Hunter. Gorgeous. So I have been working on this thing for about 10 months now, seeing as it's November 1st. By the way, happy Halloween, everybody, since I missed that. That was last night. It is November 1st, and I was supposed to be done by November 1st. The last section, what my friend and I called the 10th section that was doing this as a challenge, our idea was to do 1 block a month. For her, it was a way to keep her on track. For me, it was a way to slow me down. And I found I lost my mojo in the middle of it there for a while. And I wound up like a block and a half, 2 blocks behind what I was supposed to be. Because I was like, well, I'm going to do this project. Okay, now I'm going to do this project. Well, that second project took me a lot longer than I originally planned. So I didn't go back to the lace shawl until later. But I have caught up, well, mostly caught up. I actually haven't finished my border, but I did finish my last block and half the border. This thing turns out to be really, really long, guys, just to let you know. Helps if I actually go the right side up. So excuse all of the leftover like ends that aren't woven in and all that kind of stuff. So this is block number 9. And no, this is not block. The entire shawl has not been blocked yet. So that's block number 9. And I have completed half of the edging. So you perform a provisional cast on one end, knit up, knit the top edging first, and then you go back, pull off your provisional cast on, and you start to knit your bottom edge. Well, in your provision and your top, you have beads. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm not even sure I can hold it so you guys can see it. Yeah, there we go. We can see it. This is not a great representation of what this is supposed to look like. There we go. Now you're starting to see some of the pattern in there. Unfortunately, I can't really see if I can get there. There. Okay. So I did the top, and it takes a lot longer to do the edging sections than it does all the other sections. So I wound up getting through all of the top edging. So my top edging is done. Sorry, I can't really hold it up because it's kind of floppy up there. There we go. Not blocked. It doesn't really hold itself out very well. But for every stitch along the top, you wind up knitting 2 rows, and each row gets longer. So, and you're putting beads on, which takes longer. So I've completed half of it. And the other half is still on, I'm sure I'm actually holding this up right side up. It's still on my needles. I actually haven't started the other half yet. I did pull off my provisional cast on. There we go. I did pull off my provisional cast on. I have put in, made sure my lifeline is still in there. I have placed my markers along the line. I just haven't started knitting it yet. And the reason why is I have to sit in a very specific spot in my house to do that. And just haven't had time the last few days. So I'm hoping the next week or 2 to finish the other edge. It takes forever. Oh my Lantis. It is like the longest one, which, sorry Alaska if that scares you. You can make it. You can do it. You've got this. Yours might go faster if you don't put beads on it. I don't know. I could actually do it when I'm sitting in knit group, but not something I can do around a lot of other people, to be honest with you. It's a lot of concentration. It's a lot of picking up beads, things like that. So that's why it hasn't really got finished yet, unfortunately. I am, in the next week or so, I'm hoping to get it finished. I'm hoping to get it soaked and blocked and all that kind of stuff. And once that happens, I'm going to do like a little mini video, hopefully, and like intersperse it in my next podcast so you guys can see each individual section. And I will talk about my yarn choice next time. That's actually the right side. I will talk about what I would do differently, just to let you guys know. So there's that as well. Okay, again, I love that pattern. It's beautiful. I would actually consider making another one or taking some of the sections and repeating them multiple times because they were quite good. They were quite good. Okay, so last time I showed you guys a completed Off My Needles project, and it was the Rose and Lily hat. So this is hat number 1 that I completed. And so that was completed last time. And so I told you guys I needed 3 in total. 1 for a baby, 1 for the mom, 1 for the dad. So I've completed dad's, and I am actually working on mom's. And again, this is Rose and Lily. I'm actually going to fold some of my instructions here so you guys can see. It's a little hat. Sorry, this is not in color because I ran out of colored ink. But my other project on my needles right now is the Rose and Lily hat. And I got a lot of mosquito bites, so I'm really itchy lately. Which is abnormal for Arizona. Just to let you guys know, we don't typically have a ton of mosquitoes, but we've had a lot of rain in a very short amount of time. And we've had just enough time for them to grow. So I've completed the ribbing, and I'm about 4 rows into the chart. I'm going to get my thing out, my stitch marker out of the way there. And you guys can start to see mom's legs and baby's legs, baby elephant legs just starting to appear. So that's where I'm at right now. I am using, hang on a second. Woo. I am using Marasol Nuna yarn. Marasol Nuna. There we go. And it is 40% wool, 40% silk, and 20% viscose. There's 191 yards per, let's see, what is it? 50 grams. It's a 50 gram ball. I purchased this last time I was at Isabel's Parlor, and it's wonderful yarn. I really, really like it. I would never use this for a baby. Just letting you guys know. This is not what is being used for the baby's hat. Baby's hat is being made out of something that is washable. Mom and dad's hat, not so much. And I do always make sure I tell people when I make washable items and non-washable items for them. My cousin, who these are being made for, automatically assumes nothing is washable when I hand her unless I tell her. So I just sent her a baby blanket. And yeah, so I did put on the tag. I was like, yeah, handmade by me. But on the back I said, washable. So the green colorway here is, let's see. Can I find the name of the colorway? I don't know if they actually told me the name of the colorway. Emperor Jade. So this green is Emperor Jade. I have the purple, which is Bluebell. Not really sure how this is considered blue. I might have the tags mixed up, to be honest with you. I think this is the Jade and this is the Bluebell, but don't quote me on that because I pulled this out of the yarn, so who knows. And the gray that I'm using for the elephant is, I think I have a mosquito biting me right now. There's one in the house and he's driving us crazy. Let's see. It also says Bluebell. That's really strange, but it's a gray. I don't know. It said Bluebell on it. Who knows? I'm pretty sure these are not the right tags for everything, but again, this one came out of the inside of the yarn. So there we go. So that is everything that is on my needles. I'm going to pause this for just a second. Hi, sorry, had to let the dog out. Okay, so last but not least, I'm going to go through what's coming up to be on my needles and some stash enhancement that goes with it. So the first thing I'm going to tell you guys about is I wanted to join a Cal for it's from Stranded Dye Works, and it is the Festive Sock Along. And I'm going to be doing the Christmas Eve sock pattern. I'm going to put you guys the link down below that goes to Ravelry. So I was recently at Isabel's Parlor for my local yarn store for her open house again for the year. And I went ahead and I picked up this gorgeous ball of yarn. And it is this heather grayish, this heather brown color. And it's Huasco Heather. And it's from Araucania Yarns. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right. There you go. And it is color 201. And it's 80% Superwash Merino and 20% nylon. It is a super fine yarn, and somebody else I know used it for socks already, so I do know it works. So this is my next project. Sorry, I just dropped the tag. This is my next project as well as my most recent stash enhancement. I did have to buy sock yarn because the only sock yarn I had left was that Grouse colorway, and that was it. And that wasn't gonna work. So there was that. While I was there, I also purchased this lovely from Juniper Moon Farm Zooey Soft Cotton Linen Blend in the, what colorway are we? I think I pulled out a drum ball. I think we wound up putting the tag on the colorway. I don't know. It's a gray colorway. I can tell you that much. I don't actually know the name. But that's the colorway. And it is approximately a sport weight yarn. It's a fine yarn, but not super fine yarn. It's color number 6. Whatever way that is. Color number 6. And this is going to be used for a really cool top. And once I get ready to cast it on, guess what? You guys are going to figure it out. But yeah, so this yarn is almost the same color as what you guys are seeing in the background here. So awesome, great. I have quite a few balls of these. And on top of that, I went ahead and I wound up buying some baby yarn. So most of you guys know I've been doing a year of stash tack. Well, as it turns out, I only have certain weights of yarn left, and I was 100% out of baby yarn. And I've got about 2 more baby projects to make. So I got this baby hand dyed. It was on a clearance rack. I don't know when she got it. I don't know if she inherited it from somebody. I don't know where she bought it. No idea. But I wound up getting this really cool colorway. It's got purples and grays and whites in there. It's 100% washable, dryable, cleanable. It's awesome. It's from Fez Yarns for Hand Knitting, which is really cool. So I got about 6 of those. There is a baby sweater or a baby blanket I need to make for a friend. I also wound up, again, from this baby yarn hand dyed. I went ahead and it's DK weight. It's 50 grams. I picked up this colorway as well. And I also got one for boy, which has kind of sort of come unstained. But that's ours. So that's all of the stash enhancement I have. Those things all have to be casted on within the next 3 months. That's my rule for buying yarn now. And I am hoping that it will all happen. I am also going to be starting, and I'm going to be getting some more yarn in for, that has to be 100% wool. I do not have 100% wool. So I got to go order some stuff for a few other projects that I've got coming up. But other than that, that is everything. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And also go ahead and subscribe. Just click down below and you guys will find it. This is Mel from Crazy Desert Knitting saying see you guys next time. Talk to you later. Bye.